Good morning students. This is Priya, your science teacher, and welcome to the Aryan Digital Content. In this video, I will be explaining you the chapter number 10 of your textbook, that is respiration in organism. Before understanding the respiration, you should understand that why respiration is important. As you all know that all organisms are made of small microscopic units called cells. Cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of an organism. Each cell of an organism, it performs certain functions such as nutrition, transport, excretion and reproduction. To perform these functions, the cell needs energy. So where does this energy come from? This energy comes from the food we eat, because the food has stored energy which is released during the process of respiration. So let us understand the process of respiration in detail. As you all know that all living things respire. Respiration is basically, it is a process that includes breathing. So what is breathing? The movement of air or the movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide in and out of the body or vice versa is known as breathing. Different type of organisms have different type of organs present in their body for the respiration. For example, animals such as earthworms, they breathe through their skin surface. Fishes, they use gills for the breathing, and plants exchange gases through tiny pores called stomata, which are present mainly on the upper surface of the leaves. As you all know that stomata is basically responsible for the exchange of gases in plants. So now that you have understand that what is respiration, so let's talk about the types of respiration. There are two types of respiration, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. First of all, how is the energy stored in food released to be used by the body? That this is the question that we took up during the introduction. So the answer to this question is that during the process of breathing or during the process of respiration, we take in air or we take in oxygen. So oxygen is taken in and the carbon dioxide gas is released out of our body during the breathing process. Oxygen is then circulated to all the cells of our body, and then food is broken down in the cells with the help of this oxygen. So the process in which food is broken down in the cells to release energy is known as cellular respiration. Energy is released in the form of ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. It is an energy molecule. So the respiration is of two types that takes place in the cells. One respiration that occurs in the presence of oxygen is known as aerobic respiration, and the other respiration that occurs in the absence of oxygen is known as anaerobic respiration. The process of breakdown of food in the presence of oxygen is known as aerobic respiration. It takes place in all of the living organisms, and it leads to the production of carbon dioxide, water and energy as a product. Just like in the chemical reaction, glucose in the presence of oxygen, it leads to the formation of carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Food is also broken down in the absence of oxygen. This process is known as anaerobic respiration. It occurs in organisms such as yeast. This process leads to the production of alcohol, carbon dioxide or energy. Just like in this chemical reaction, the glucose in the absence of oxygen, it leads to the formation of alcohol or lactic acid plus energy and carbon dioxide. So let us understand the difference between, or the basic difference between the aerobic respiration and the anaerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, it occurs in the presence of oxygen, while the anaerobic respiration, it occurs in the absence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration involves the exchange of gases between an organism and outside of the surrounding, while in anaerobic respiration, the exchange of gases is absent. Aerobic respiration, it generally occurs in the cytoplasm and the mitochondria, because mitochondria contains oxygen, because it is the powerhouse of the cell, while in anaerobic respiration it occurs only in the cytoplasm. The aerobic respiration, it releases carbon dioxide and water as a product, but in anaerobic respiration the end products may vary, as it can lead to the formation of alcohol or it can lead to the formation of lactic acid. Aerobic respiration generally it leads to the formation of 36 molecules of ATP, and in anaerobic respiration only 2 molecules of ATP are produced. Example, all cells in a living organism it performs the aerobic respiration, and the anaerobic respiration it takes place in generally in the yeast and muscle cells, which leads to the formation of alcohol and lactic acid. Next is the ATP. ATP it is generally it is adenosine triphosphate, and it is the universal unit of energy that is used in all living cells. It is a very basic molecule which meets our energy needs and which is generally formed in the later steps of the glucose oxidation. Now let us understand the fermentation, or a type of anaerobic respiration that takes place in the yeast. Yeast generally performs the process of anaerobic respiration, which leads to the production of alcohol by the incomplete breakdown of sugar, which takes place generally in the absence of oxygen. It is for this reason that why the yeast is used in the production of wine and beer. The anaerobic conversion of sugar to the carbon dioxide and alcohol by the yeast is known as fermentation. Okay, so fermentation is the process that is generally used in the industries for the production of wine and beer or any alcoholic product. Let us understand about the yeast. Yeast is generally a eukaryotic microorganisms. Eukaryotic organisms, they have a nuclear membrane present outside their nuclear genetic material. So yeast is classified in the kingdom fungi. It has around 1500 species currently described. It is unicellular in nature, although some species of yeast they become multicellular through the formation of strings of connected budding cells known as false hyphae or pseudo hyphae. The size of yeast can vary greatly depending on the species. Typically it measures about 3 to 4 micrometer in diameter, although some yeast they can reach over 40 micrometer. Most of the yeast they reproduce through asexual mode of reproduction by the mitosis or budding. Next is the human respiratory system. So let us understand the process of respiration in the human beings. First of all, what is breathing rate? The breathing rate, it is the number of times a person inhales and exhales or breathes in 1 minute is known as the breathing rate. A normal person can breathe 12 to 15 times in a minute. So first is the parts of the human respiratory system. So the basic parts of the human respiratory system is the nasal cavity. Posterior to that, pharynx, then trachea, lungs and diaphragm. Okay. The trachea leads to the bronchi. Okay. This bronchi they are divided from the primary. They are further divided into primary bronchi and then secondary bronchi and then tertiary bronchi, which are responsible mainly for the gaseous exchange. So let us understand the passage of air in human respiratory system. First of all, the air enters through our external nostrils, which leads to the nasal passage. This nasal passage, these transfer the air to the nasal chamber. The nasal chamber has small fine hair particles which filter the air and trap the dust particles and then transfer the filtered air to the nasopharynx. Nasopharynx is the part of pharynx which transfers the air to the larynx, that is sound box. The larynx it leads to the trachea through glottis. Trachea is generally known as the windpipe. This trachea it transfers the air to the primary bronchi. Okay, the trachea it divides into 2 pipes that are known as primary bronchi. Trachea it is generally present in our chest cavity or present near the 5th thoracic vertebra in our vertebral column. This primary bronchi it leads to the further divided into secondary bronchi or bronchioles. Then the primary bronchi they transfer the air to the secondary bronchioles, and the secondary bronchioles they transfer the air or the filtered air to the tertiary bronchioles. As secondary bronchi they further divided into tertiary bronchi. These tertiary bronchi they transfer the air to the terminal bronchioles or the ending of the bronchioles. The ending of the bronchioles it leads to a bag-like structure that is known as alveoli, which is responsible for the gaseous exchange as it contains many blood capillaries that absorbs the oxygen and that releases the carbon dioxide. So this is the passage of air that generally takes place in human respiratory system. Next is the process of breathing in human beings. The process of breathing in human beings, it involves taking in oxygen rich air and giving out the carbon dioxide. This entire process, it occurs because of the actions of the various organs, for example lungs, diaphragm, chest cavity and various other organs of our respiratory system. We all know that we take in air through our nostrils, and when we breathe in, the air passes through our nostrils into the nasal cavity and then further into the nasopharynx and then goes on. The air then reaches the lungs, which is located in our chest cavity. The actual mechanism of breathing, it involves the movement of the rib cage and the diaphragm muscles, which are located around and at the base of our chest cavity respectively. So let us understand a very important mechanism of breathing in humans. The mechanism of breathing, it involves two processes mainly, inhalation and exhalation. The inhalation of oxygen rich air and exhalation of the carbon dioxide rich air. First, the first diagram is of inhalation and the second diagram is of exhalation. So during inhalation, the diaphragm moves down as it increases the cavity of the chest. The diaphragm moves down and the ribs, they move upwards and outwards. So this process, it increases the space in the chest cavity, or it increases the volume of the chest cavity. As you all know that volume is inversely proportional to the pressure. So when the volume of the chest cavity increases, the pressure inside the chest cavity, it decreases. This leads to the movement of air inside the lungs. This is the process of inhalation. In contrast, during exhalation, the diaphragm moves to its original position and the ribs, they move downwards and inwards. This reduces the size of the chest cavity, or this reduces the volume of the chest cavity. The decreasing in the volume of chest cavity, it leads to the increase in the pressure of the chest cavity, which leads to the movement of air out of the lungs. So this is the mechanism of breathing in human beings. This is a very important mechanism. So this is the end of human respiratory system. Next, let's learn about the respiration in various type of organisms. Respiration in amoeba. Amoeba, as you all know, it is a single celled organism. It has only a single cell in whole of its body. So it respires through the process of diffusion by its body surface. Okay, through its body surface, it take in the oxygen rich air by the process of diffusion and diffuses out the carbon dioxide. Next is the respiration in land animals. Many organisms such as elephants, lions, cows, frogs and birds, they have lungs like that in the human beings. So how do they organisms such as cockroaches and earthworms, they breathe? Do they have any breathing organ like that in the humans, or do they have any other structure for the breathing? So let us understand the breathing mechanism in the cockroach. Cockroach, as you can see in the diagram, it has small openings on the lateral sides of its body. These openings are called spiracles. These are small openings which facilitates the exchange of gases. The oxygen rich air, it enters in the body through the spiracles. The spiracles, they are connected with the network of many tubes, which is called the trachea. As you can see in the diagram, the black colored tubes, they all are trachea. Trachea, it is present all over the body of the cockroach. The oxygen then enters the trachea, from where it diffuses directly into the cells of the body of the cockroach. However, the movement of carbon dioxide, it follows the reverse path, where as in the carbon dioxide in the cells of the body, first they enters into the trachea and then they leaves the body through the spiracles, which are the small openings on the lateral side of the body. The blood of cockroach is known as hemolymph, as it is involved in the exchange of gases between the cells. So this is the respiration in cockroaches. Next, in the earthworms. The earthworms, the respiration occurs through the surface of their skin. Okay, the skin of an earthworm is moist and slimy because gases directly diffuses into its tissues through the skin. Next is the respiration in plants. Do you think that plants also respire like any other organism? So how do plants take in the oxygen? Just like all living other organisms, plants too respire because they have life. So they respire through the tiny pores on the surface of their leaves called the stomata. As you can see in the diagram, these tiny pores, these are known as stomata. The oxygen enters the plant while the carbon dioxide they leaves the plant through these pores, which is stomata. So the leaves of the plant, they are generally responsible for the exchange of gases. So the next question is the roots of the plant also respire or not? Okay, so the roots of the plant, they also respire because they do so by taking in the oxygen from the air spaces present in between the soil by the process of diffusion. Okay, diffusion is generally it is a process that takes place by the movement of molecule from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide it moves out with the help of diffusion process. These types of gaseous exchange takes place in the younger roots only and not takes place in the older roots. In the older roots, the gaseous exchange it occurs by the lenticels. Lenticels is just like stomata, which is responsible for the gaseous exchange. The lenticels, they are thin walled and loosely arranged cells with intercellular spaces for air present for the gaseous exchange. So this is the diagram of the root hair cell and the root hairs and the air spaces that are present in between the root hair cell. So the part of oxygen that is produced by the plants in the photosynthesis is utilized by the plant for breathing, and some of its part is given out by the plants through the stomata, which we use for breathing. So this is how the plants respire. So this is your chapter number 10. Okay, I hope you have understood it very well. Thank you.